Well, the pharma whores are out in full force, revealing themselves for what they are, pharma whores. Viva Fry, former Montreal litigator turned current Florida rumbler in my home office. And yesterday, as at the time of shooting this vlog, it is currently September 23rd, 2025. Yesterday, RFK Jr., Dr. Mehmet Oz, Bhattacharya, and Donald John Trump gave a press conference on the correlation or the apparent correlation between Tylenol and autism. And today, doctors and Big Pharma whores are flipping their lids, running to the defense of Big Pharma Tylenol.
The research, a lot of what they've been speaking about comes from right here, by research done by these people. And I just say it again, don't take Tylenol. Don't take it. And don't give it to your child after your child is born. And do all those other things, little things, just spread out your visits, et cetera, on the vaccine. And I want to thank everybody. This is a very important day. Thank you very much.
What do you mean with the Democratic leader, sir?
I mean, it's actually shocking. It's actually stunning the degree to which some of these doctors and some of these so-called experts are abject idiots with absolutely no critical thinking skills, and they seem to be totally devoid of basic logic. I always say people need to take a course in logic, either in high school or university. You know, like if A, then B, if B, then C, then A, therefore C. Take a course in logic, people, and it seems that these doctors, these so-called experts, who know more and more about less and less, lack basic logic. Either that or they're just total liars for the benefit of Big Pharma, and I think it might be a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. From the White House, fact, evidence suggests link between acetaminophen autism. The White House, September 22nd, 2025. Quote, the Trump administration does not believe popping more pills is always the answer for better health. There is mounting evidence finding a connection between acetaminophen use during pregnancy and autism, and that's why the administration is courageously issuing this new health guidance. Additionally, the Trump administration is approving a new treatment option that has been found to improve some autism symptoms. President Trump pledged to address America's skyrocketing rates of autism, and his team is deploying gold standard science to deliver on this pledge. We will not be deterred in these efforts, as we know millions across America are grateful, end quote. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. And the press release itself, today, President Donald J. Trump joined administration officials to announce major progress in understanding the root causes of autism, which has exploded in diagnoses over the past 2 decades, and unveil bold new initiatives to tackle the autism epidemic. Predictably, the fake news immediately went into frenzied hyperventilation with their usual smears, distortions, and lies. Fact, evidence suggests acetaminophen use in pregnant women, especially late in pregnancy, may cause long-term neurological effects in their children. You have large-scale cohort studies, including the Nurses' Health Study 2 and the Boston Birth Cohort, report association between in utero exposure and later diagnosis of autism spectrum disorder, ASD, and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD. Further down, Johns Hopkins University, taking Tylenol during pregnancy associated with elevated risks for autism, ADHD. Mount Sinai study supports evidence that parental acetaminophen use may be linked to the increased risk of autism and ADHD. In 2021, an international consensus statement highlighted, quote, a call for precautionary action, end quote, recommending that pregnant women, quote, minimize exposure, end quote, to acetaminophen, quote, by using the lowest effective dose for the shortest possible time, end quote. Who would have thought it would be controversial to say, don't take drugs unless you absolutely have to? Who would have thought it would ever have been controversial to say, don't take medications unless you absolutely need to? Let your body do its thing. That's what it was designed to do. Who would have thought that would have been controversial, especially to doctors whose first Hippocratic oath is to do no harm? But no, we live in a world of overdiagnosis, overprescription, doctors who literally get paid to prescribe drugs to people. Oh, you got a headache? Pop an acetaminophen. Oh, you got this? Take a drug for that. Don't work it off naturally. Don't figure out how to deal with the source of the problem. Take drugs to make it better. Now, I appreciate I'm a little bit neurotic and I don't like taking drugs unless I absolutely have to. I'd rather deal with the pain than deal with the fear of liver damage from taking something that's supposed to suppress the pain that doesn't actually suppress the pain. And if you take something that does suppress the pain, then you get horribly addicted to the drug that actually causes you to not feel the pain anymore. Because if you find a magic drug that actually numbs the body to the pain, you can't blame anybody for getting horribly addicted to those types of drugs. And not for nothing, they have warning labels on these things. Do you know how many many people die from acetaminophen exposure every year? From AI overview, but take it with a grain of salt, because I know that it's roughly true. While the exact number of annual deaths from acetaminophen overdose is difficult to pinpoint, multiple sources indicate it is the leading cause of acute liver failure in the United States and accounts for around 500 deaths each year. People have gotten so used to over-the-counter prescription of acetaminophen that they don't think there's anything potentially wrong with it, when even normal use of it for whatever purpose is needed can in fact do a little bit of damage to the body. It does in fact cause a little bit of liver issues. They do say if you have liver issues to not take acetaminophen. Why would anyone think it would be normal to jack up a pregnant woman on acetaminophen, or to even think that there would be absolutely no potential down risk for a pregnant woman to consume acetaminophen during pregnancy? That's a little redundant. You know what I mean? Trump comes out with this press conference and it's relatively well fleshed out. It's relatively well explained. They go on to say that, you know, in Cuba, for example, they do administer quite a bit of vaccines to children, but they don't prescribe acetaminophen to the degree that they prescribe it in America, which would explain why you don't see the rates of autism in Cuba that you see in America. But then you have these big pharma whores, experts and regular citizens alike, running to the defense of big pharma, saying, no, in Cuba they don't have the rates of autism because they don't diagnose it properly, and in America we just have so much autism because they're diagnosing it properly, as if to totally ignore the fact that levels of crippling autism in America have exploded in the last decades. And if you don't think something is causing that, and it's just a totally natural occurrence, you're an idiot. There's no other way to say it. You're an idiot. Something is clearly causing it. The only question is what is causing it. And the only people who say we don't want to know what's causing it are the people who seem to be benefiting from it in the medical industry. And the only people who seem to be saying we don't care about what's causing it, and anybody who dares question the correlation between things and autism are quacks, whatever. They seem to be big pharma whores or people who just do not care. And just for illustrative purposes, let's take a couple of takes from some expert quack pharma whores on the internet today. From Craig Spencer, MD, MPH, at Craig_A_Spencer. Yes, autism exists in the Amish community. Yes, Cuba has acetaminophen. Yes, this is just one misinformed lie after another. Now, when I saw that last sentence, I thought he was referring to his own two lies, but yes, doctor, that is a wonderful mischaracterization of what was being said. No one said autism does not exist in the Amish community. Nobody said that acetaminophen does not exist in Cuba. Nobody is suggesting that autism didn't exist before the creation of acetaminophen or Tylenol. What they are saying is that there is a direct correlation, which doesn't equal causation, between the use of acetaminophen, the administration of vaccines, and the rates of autism. And in Cuba, by way of concrete example, they do not prescribe acetaminophen at the levels that they do in America. In the Amish community, they do not see autism at the rates that is seen among the general population of America, or certainly not at the rates seen in California, where it's like 1 in 12 boys. So the existence of and frequency of are two very different things that this doctor, who seems to be an expert in stupidity, does not seem to appreciate, or he does appreciate it, and he is running hard cover for his big pharma whores who butter his bread in the morning. And again, from AI overview, but I know this to be true already, there is no specific prescription rate for acetaminophen in Cuba publicly available, but it is known to be available and used, with a notable distinction from the United States, where it is widely over the counter. In Cuba, acetaminophen, also called paracetamol, is sold in government pharmacies. The availability and use are contrasted with the United States, where acetaminophen has been widely available since the 1970s. So yeah, Dr. Idiot, the existence of is very different than the frequency of. You will get people who do not smoke that get lung cancer, but you do not get to then say, well, the existence of lung cancer exists in people who don't smoke, so there's no correlation between lung cancer and smoking. And the fact that regular people need to explain this logical error to doctors makes me very, very nervous about the state of doctors in America. And speaking of that, here's another example. Dr. Vin Gupta at Vin Gupta MD. Tylenol use is safe in pregnancy, lowest effective dose. Don't listen to the utter nonsense emanating from the highest office in the land today. Speak to your medical provider. And as a joke, I took to Twitter and put out what I thought was a totally clearly sarcastic tweet that reads as follows. Viva Fry at the Viva Fry. They're going to start a new TikTok trend, quote, take Tylenol to protest Trump, end quote, aren't they? With a laughing emoji. And because we are actually living through idiocracy in real time, that parody of a tweet seems to have become reality. Now, full disclosure, I don't know if these videos are accurate. I don't know if they're true, but I saw a tweet coming from Daughtry that women are actually taking Tylenols during pregnancy to protest Trump. Eric Daughtry at Eric LDAUGH, just in. To stick it to Trump and RFK Jr., liberal women who are pregnant are posting videos on social media of them downing Tylenol. Quote, I believe in science and not someone who has no medical background, end quote. Just be aware that these videos themselves could be trolls, could be sarcasm, could be parody. We're living in a sort of post-information world where blur. You don't know what is real, what is not. You don't know what is parody and what is sincere stupidity. But the jokes practically write themselves. People are so hell-bent on defending Big Pharma. They've gone from defending Pfizer and the jab to defending Tylenol. Take more drugs, people. What the heck did the divine creator know when he made your body? And by the way, if you're still watching this video and you have not yet liked, shared, subscribed, turned on notifications, drop a comment in the comment section below because it helps feed the algorithm. YouTube is not even recommending my own videos to my own subscribers on YouTube, but there's a solution to that. Rumble and vivabarneslaw.locals.com. That is the news for the day. They literally said Trump could cure cancer, and people would say this is unfair. He's going to put doctors out of business. Trump and his administration seemingly have found a correlation between Tylenol and autism. They seemingly found some treatments that might reduce the severity of autism, and people are literally complaining, literally saying, I'm going to go buy more drugs from Big Pharma to stick it to Trump and to stick it to my unborn children. It literally makes no sense, but after all, we are talking about the liberal, progressive, capital D Democrat brain, which itself might not be capable of making sense. But that's the vlog for today. If you like what I do, you know what to do, but most importantly, exercise, eat healthy, sunlight, because there's immense value from vitamin D, despite what they told us for the last 5 years, and now you know your vlog. Peace out, peeps. Booyah!